Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to the Ancient Legends Challenge. In the last episode, our tribe embarked on a new adventure to a very dark and very treacherous mountain. This place is clearly going to be much more difficult than our previous mountain was. If the last mountain was ruled by summer, then this one is very clearly ruled by winter. Once it starts to snow, I would imagine it will be quite hard for our tribe to get around, so we need to figure out a plan very quickly. We did manage to free a new creature from the glacier though. Little Isreem has our very first Megaloceros horns, and I am so excited to breed that into the tribe. That should help us out if the balanced bears do descend from the peaks. Though for now, as she has her nice warm bath, maybe she can tell our tribe about what her tribe was like before they ended up getting separated. I feel like with the glaciers and the locations that they are, maybe they were all exploring at the very tallest peaks. And then of course when it started to snow, they all ended up getting separated, perhaps going down the mountain at different directions, looking for ports to escape the mountain from. So I think it's pretty clear that Isreem was probably the youngest. She actually only has 2 gems to her name, and it makes me curious to see what her friends might have been like. Were these perhaps members of her family, or were they just traveling buddies scouting out this new land? It's a question that our tribe is probably just as eager to discover. So maybe they can help her reunite with her old friends. So as Dark keeps our newish tribe mate company, as she shares all of her stories, I think Kitten is going to watch on with fascination. She has really taken a shining to this shy little creature. He is awfully quiet, but he is always ready to swoop in and save the day wherever he's needed. And I think she finds that to be a very admirable trait. So perhaps these two could start a little family of their own. We know this would be a great way to keep the big body in our tribe. Unfortunately, I think they are the only 2 carrying it right now. Isreem has it in her genetics, but she's not wearing it, and that's probably why she ended up freezing so quickly out in the cold. So the big body is very important for us to keep. Then we might as well try to breed those Megaloceros horns onto their babies too. Since we have it unlocked in our mutation menu now, it would probably be a good time for us to get started. I am quite curious to see how the bear Yena snout is going to interact with our digging trunk. We know that Dark is going to pass this to his babies, but the reason why I'm not putting it into Kitten's mutation menu is because I want to see if this is more dominant than the digging trunk is. Maybe we'll see little bear Yena babies running around the tribe too. That would certainly be a good way for us to scare away any potential predators. Hopefully they'll be able to breed. I guess we'll have to wait until the next turn. Maybe they're a little bit worried about the food supplies. This is the only island we've encountered so far that doesn't have a single berry bush for us to pick from. So we're going to have to rely on hunting bunnies, but also on digging up those roots. It looks like we may have picked up everything around here. So that means Sleet is going to have to try to find some more food for them to pick up. I guess that'll kind of decide which direction we're going to go in. If we can't find many tasty roots up the middle of the mountain, we might have to veer off down the shore. Sleet is the kind of creature who never veers too far away from his friends, so luckily they should all stay toasty warm. But as we already know, these 2 brothers are not so willing to stick with their tribe. I don't think that Frostbite has any interest in the roots. He definitely prefers his acorns and his shells, which are going to be quite hard for him to find on this mountain. So instead, maybe he would take interest in Isreem's stories. Maybe she could even tell him where that legendary tail he's wearing came from. Maybe she would know the origins. So let's have him settle down inside the hot springs too, so we can listen to all of those stories as well. As Fisto, perhaps, gets to know Taylor a bit better. They never had much of a chance to interact on the old mountain, because they literally just met each other before they shipped off. But I think that he would find her to be quite impressive, not only because she's wearing that hammer tail too, but also because of her considerable strength. So maybe you wouldn't mind tagging along? I know that you do prefer to stay by your brother's side, but you might be able to impress Taylor if you find these roots. Looks like he smells more off in the distance. Okay, so you better call that creatures up the side of the mountain. We'll see what you guys can discover. But for now, we should be ready to skip the day, so cross your fingers that it doesn't start to snow. So far, so good. Looks like we have a little bit more time before the snows descend upon our tribe. That's going to make it so hard for us to get around, so we need to make sure we're set up somewhere by the hot springs. We don't want to veer too far away from these things. But it looks like you're feeling much better, Isreem. That warm path must have really helped. I wonder if she remembers anything about this land. I wonder if perhaps things have really changed since the last time she was awake, or if she might know where to hunt down some of those pesky bunnies. Let's have you scoot off this way, just to see what you can discover. Oh, we do have some roots out here. Excellent. So go ahead and dig those up for the tribe. And Frostbite, despite your lack of interest in this food, I think you would be willing to dig this one up too, if it means impressing the Grand Isreem herself. So do you smell any more off in the distance? It looks like we have plenty of that nesting material to pick up. But I'm quite surprised that we haven't seen any bunnies yet, considering how many burrows there are on the side of the mountain. We have lots of clovers too, so we know there's plenty for them to eat. I guess we'll just have to wait until they get brave enough to come out into the cold too. We'll have you sit right here next to Isreem for now, so you two hopefully don't get too cold. And then we'll see if we can hopefully breed Dark and Kitten on this turn. There we go. So why don't you settle down right here for now? Right on top of all of these clovers, and between the hot springs too. So she is in a very well protected area. I don't think she has to worry too much about predators finding her babies. And if they do end up getting a little bit cold since they are younger, they can always take a quick dip inside the hot springs. Now you guys better chase after Feasto. He's already getting cold out there all on his own. So Taylor, since you have the best digging abilities. Oh wait, it's actually Joy, isn't it? Yeah, she's the one with the digging paw. So you better come up here and dig this one up for him. And then you guys can all try your best to keep this pesky little creature warm. You don't know just how difficult he is to track down yet, but I think you're going to learn very quickly. Taylor should be able to reach this route. And then I suppose we could have Feasto just settle down in the hot springs for now. That way we can definitely get rid of that debuff on him, so he doesn't end up freezing out in the colds. And it is a little bit risky sleep, but you should be okay for this turn if you hop on top of this stump, just to see if you can find any bunnies hopping around. Yeah, it really doesn't seem like a single one has spawned yet. That's awfully strange. Well, I guess you guys will have to wait then. We'll have to stick to our roots. It's a good thing that we brought so many of these digging chunked creatures, or else we might not have had a way to keep everyone alive. If we're truly going to have to rely on our roots from here on out, then you digging chunks are going to be very, very special. Oh, excellent, there's a big bunch of them over here. You may have just hit the jackpot for us, Dark. We'll have you pick that up on the next turn too. And I guess, Sleet, you can stay right there just in case any danger comes down from the mountains. It looks like everything is okay so far. Oh no. Oh, a balance bear spawned right in between you all? Oh, that is not a good sign. It looks like we may have inadvertently created a rift between our tribes again. But the good news is, even though I'm sure that Dark can smell this creature in the distance, looming over his roots, in fact, I wonder if that's why he's stumbling closer. He's not going to have any berries to eat, so he is a strictly carnivorous balance bearer. He must know this is the best place to pick off our creatures. But with all of those rocks at your back, at least you won't have to worry about the balance bear finding your babies. And it looks like your very first one may have mutated those lovely horns after all. Oh my gosh, how striking is this creature? And how strong too. He has the big body, he has the bear claw, and those big horns seal the deal. He is officially our strongest creature on the mountain yet. So I guess the digging chunk actually passes over the bear snout? That's actually good to know. That'll help us ensure that this gene stays alive and strong in our tribe. But as for your name, the next name on my list is Aang. So welcome to our tribe, little one. You might not have all of the legendary genes, but with so many unique traits, I feel like that name is very, very fitting. And it looks like our ancient warrior has grown up as well. Though Isreem is feeling a little bit cold now that she's so far away from her other tribe mates. So let's see if we can bring you back together with Dark. I don't want to leave him up here with the roots since the balance bear is so close. And we don't need him leading him straight back to our babies. As long as the balance bear decides to give chase to this tribe instead, then we should be okay. In fact, I wonder if they would try to get his attention, knowing that there are babies to protect. The only problem is that these creatures won't get very far if they do end up getting separated. So despite their strength, they might not be the best choice to chase any balance bears away. I guess for now, we'll have you guys start making your way toward these roots. Oh, there's actually plenty down here for you guys to pick up too. Alright, so Fisto, I know you're probably quite eager to get your claws dirty in battle, but let's have you follow right after Joy. That way you can watch their backs. They could really use an extra guard, and Fisto knows that he's fit for the job. There's no better way that he could possibly impress Taylor. So scoot on up here. You guys should be far enough away from the balance bear now that he won't even notice you're gone. I will move Kitten over in this direction though, just in case. That way if the balance bear does decide to wrap around, we should be able to have her scoot her baby out of harm's way. On the next turn, I think I'll have somebody settle up on top of these stumps, just so we can see these predators a little more easily. But for now, I want you guys to huddle together, so you can keep that warm buff for the next turn. So let's go ahead and skip the day, and see if the balance bear is going to reveal himself. No, it looks like he's still in the darkness. In fact, it looks like he hasn't really noticed our tribe at all, so we might be safe for now. Maybe that means it's time for you to go after those tasty roots again. Pick up this one, sit high atop the stump, and let your family know that all is well. His mate would probably make for the best scout, since she can withstand the colder temperatures, and she's also very strong with that Bergina claw of hers. She would be the most likely to stay stationary anyways. She doesn't have to go out in search of those roots, whereas he would be more the wandering type, looking for food to keep our tribe sustained. So, Aang, hopefully there's some way that we can bring you to your tribe mates. Maybe little Isreem wouldn't mind babysitting you. We'll have you settle down inside the hot springs for now, and then Isreem can scoot right to your side. Oh, she can show you all the best ways to use those lovely Megaloceros horns. She would be an expert for sure. I wonder if it was even the balance bears that caused her tribe to get so separated. I suppose they always could have been chasing in her shadow too. Maybe the bears were even what scattered them in the first place, and the snow just made it harder to get home. And home might very well have been quite close by, with those permanent nests right up at the top. I wonder if that's even where little Isreem was born. She's so young that I wouldn't be surprised if she was born on this very island. But I guess it depends what sort of creatures are waiting inside those glaciers. And you know, Frostbite, now might be your chance to see if Isreem might be interested in starting a little family too. She has taken such a shining to this little Megaloceros baby. I wonder if perhaps she's hoping to raise some children of her own. We'll just have to make sure that we place those Megaloceros horns into Frostbite's genetics too, because those will be even stronger than Animew's crown. That's part of the reason why I always consider those Megaloceros horns to be connected to her in some way, like the ultimate sign of Animew's protection on the harsh winter mountains. And for that reason, why don't we actually try to breed some Berryina claws onto her babies too? Just so they'll be even stronger than they are right now. And so they could potentially think about trying to take out that balance bear once and for all. If that is the same sort of creature who caused you to lose your tribe, then I wouldn't be surprised if you want your revenge. The only good thing about it being so cold is that we should unlock that big body very quickly from here on out, and then it'll be much easier for us to survive in these climates. But go ahead and breed with Isreem. Hopefully. Oh, the fertility has really been getting in the way lately. Maybe we need to use her second slot to try to increase the fertility on her babies. The last thing we need is for our tribe to completely die out just because of the fertility gene. So I guess this is as good a place as any to plop down your nest. Just in case the balance bear is continuing his journey downhill, we probably don't want to risk getting any closer. Now as for you guys, you still have a couple of roots to dig out this way, and we'll want to make sure that Joy is doing most of the work, since she can pick up that extra little bit of food. But let's try to focus you guys right around the stump. That way you can get another good look around the area. Despite how bare it actually is out here, at least you can smell more food out in the distance. So I guess this is a good way for our tribe to take anyways. A good pathway to hopefully lead them straight over to this glacier. They'll be passing by some particularly menacing swamp ports. Oh, and I wanted to check and see if this one is actually a mountain. Yeah, those seem to be mountain ports. They're very small though. Smaller than we've ever interacted with before. And the other ones are just more swamplands. So the northern ports usually lead us to tougher mountains, and that's why this one concerns me. If we do end up running out of food on this mountain, we'll probably want to regroup in a more peaceful place. But I don't think the swamplands are going to help us out too much. It's not like we have a way to pick from the poison berries, so we might just have to risk it and jump to this killer island once the time comes. I guess that's a question for all of your future generations. It's probably not something that you guys are going to have to concern yourselves with. And for that matter, hopefully you'll find so much food that your babies won't have to worry one bit. But since the balance bear is somewhere far, far away, and since it still hasn't snowed on the island yet, I think it's going to be time for you guys to really consider starting families too. Taylor is nearing the tail end of her lifespan. She's crossed over the middle of her life now, and Fisto actually has as well. They're both the very same age, and with those lovely hammer tails that they're sporting, they should be able to create a very strong warrior family. So perhaps his dedication has finally impressed Taylor enough to consider creating her own nest. We'll just want to plop the digging chunk into Fisto's mutation menu, because this tribe is not going to want to lose their digging powers. Then, since he doesn't actually have a crown to his name, we'll go ahead and put the Megaloceros horns into his second slot. At least we know that the hammer tail is going to be alive and well, because that's the only thing that these two can pass on to their babies. It might not be the warmest genetic, but it doesn't surprise me that Fisto is all about strength. So go ahead and breed with Taylor, and then hopefully she'll be able to settle down her nest on this turn. It will unfortunately make it so the tribe can't travel quite as fast. They'll have to stay behind to make sure the baby doesn't get separated, just like Aang in his hot springs. But once that's all said and done, they'll have plenty more able bodies to keep everybody warm. And that's what's really going to matter once it starts to snow. Oh geez, it looks like the balance bear did find you guys after all. Yeah, he is definitely looming down over your pack. And it must be because of all of these tasty little morsels sitting in the hot springs. But at least we have a gorgeous new warrior. Oh, the perfect way to continue Isreem's legacy. I think she might even be stronger than Aang. So once she has the energy for it, she might be able to defend her family from the balance bear entirely. Maybe she can figure out how to take it down once and for all. The next name on my list is Polaris. So welcome to our tribe, little one. We'll see what sort of feats of strength are waiting in your future. And as for our other baby, it looks like we might have yet another grand warrior on our hands. Oh, she actually looks quite a bit like Slee. Very interesting with those double claws. She has the antlers instead like her mother. And it looks like she might even have tiny little spots. They're super, super hard to see because they are the same color as her fur. But she does have snowy little spots to help her blend in with the storms. So she is going to make for an excellent little ninja. Maybe she can help us take down all of the balance bears too. The next name on my list is Moonwatcher. So welcome to our tribe as well. And let's see if your family can dig up some more of those roots. Someone will have to stay behind with the baby, of course. And I think it probably will be Taylor. Though from here she can still reach a few of the meals, while her sister goes out for the roots that are a bit farther away. This one over here by the tree might be a bit of a leap, but it's a risk that she'd be willing to take. Anything to ensure that her new little niece will have a very full stomach. So before we go any further with you guys, let's see if we can figure out what we're going to do with this side of the family. Yeah, I don't think you guys are going to want to stick around. The balance bear does have a 2 in defense, so that means only our strongest warriors will truly be able to do any damage. I think asking Kitten to attack the balance bear would be just silly. She is so close to the end of her lifespan and she's really not fast enough to run. So instead, I wonder if Frostbite could get his attention. He would be just the sort of reckless creature for the job. So let's set him up right here. That way he can hopefully get ready for the attack. The balance bear can move 2 spaces in 1 turn, so I think he should be okay. Fingers crossed that he'll be just far enough away for this plan to work. But we'll have him breed again with his mate just in case. So you might as well go and pack up your nest because there's no way we're going to be able to use this again. We'll have to find a brand new place for you guys to call home as soon as we have a little bit more energy to spare. We'll definitely want Kitten and Dark to move out of the way too. We'll bring Dark over to this side if we can, because I'm pretty sure there's a root around here somewhere. Oh, I thought that there was. Did it disappear? Oh, there they are, right in between this strange little dip that we can't seem to move our creatures into. So we'll have you sit on the bunny burrow instead and pick up all of the roots around you. Calling Kitten toward you so she'll be nice and safe too. They must be worried since they're so far away from Aang, but at least they know that he's in good hands. He has the strength of an ancient warrior at his side after all. The best teacher that he could ever ask for. Actually, if we scoot you back right here, and if the balance bear still gives chase, maybe he would settle right in between these two. That would be the perfect way for Isreem to get a good hit in too, and then we won't have to worry about Frostbite getting too cold, because that is always the other big concern. So you guys can all huddle around the new baby, and then we'll go back to food collecting here. So now that we've picked up all of the roots that we can possibly reach, let's see if your plan is going to work. Hopefully the balance bearer won't be able to attack you. Oh, but it seems like he may have lost interest. Oh, he's still in the darkness. looming over your tribe again, just watching your babies from afar. That has to be so unnerving. Well, at least your babies are safe, and that's all that you could really ask for. And that gives Aang the chance to sneak around the side so he can get closer to his family. And that even gives you guys a chance to have more babies too. More strong warrior babies just like Aang, who can take down the balance bear once and for all. I like to think that he's kind of calling little Polaris to his side. Maybe this is a way to repay Isreem's favor, since she watched after him when he was so young, with only one gem to his name. He wants to watch after her little baby too. He knows that she's not quite as well protected against the elements, so she will need somebody to keep her warm. Maybe that's even why he decided to stop at these hot springs. So hopefully in the next episode, she'll be able to find a safe place to grow, so we can think about battling the balance bear. I mean, I think we have enough strength on our side. I don't think that's going to be a concern. Well, with the amazing luck that we've had with these Megaloceros horns so far. But it all comes down to whether or not we can overwhelm the balance bear before he really tears into our tribe. And we don't want our older tribe mates falling victim to his claws either. So in the next episode, we'll see if our warriors still have the luck of Animeme on their side. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!